Welcome to episode 8 of the trading war between my two favorite boomers, Bart and Eelco, where they are competing for 2 tickets to a game of FC Barcelona to visit it with one of their kids. Eelco is currently in the lead, Bart not giving up just yet, and the asset to trade for this week is going to be INJ Injective, one of my favorite coins to trade. Good luck, and I can't wait to see the results once again coming Sunday.
Het volgende station is Breukelen. Station Breukelen.
Hello guys, I'm showing you a little glimpse of my daily commute. Well, it's not daily because in the Netherlands we have hybrid working, which means that I'm working only 2 weeks in the office. But yeah, in those days, like today, life is quite chaotic and trading obviously is more difficult. But luckily I got into a trade yesterday evening in the injective short. It was a little bit chaotic, that's why I'm already out of my short, which is a little bit of a waste because it's now price is dropping further. But at least I got some gains back from my Doge trade, so I'm quite happy with that. Let's see how Eelco is doing. Yeah, I will show you the trade I took on TradingView, obviously together with Jip and Eelco. See you there.
It's the 14th of June and another week has been concluded by my two favorite boomers. Bart, how did it go?
It was a mixed feeling week, I have to say. The result was quite okay because I compensated my loss for the Doge trade, but I found it a difficult week actually to trade.
And why is that?
Actually, we took some weeks of a break in between the last recording and now. So we had the opportunity to chart Injective a little longer than just 1 week. I was confused by the whole market with the drop and then the aggressive push up again from Bitcoin and every coin actually. I had not expected that, so I got a huge FOMO feeling, but also a weird feeling because something felt off and feels off, but that put me off guard actually the entire week. But I'm happy that I didn't go for a long at the top section.
Because I can obviously see your chart as well in front of me, and it looks like you cut a very nice short. But what was the thing that made it a bit confusing to you last week? Was it the fact that we pumped very aggressively, or was it like sentiment in the market? And also, I'm very curious why you felt like something was off, because I also felt like something was off, and something was off because we retraced that entire pump. But what was to you like the reason, or what were the indicators that something was off?
This is the Bitcoin chart. This drop towards this low of this range here, take some of the sell side liquidity, and then this extremely aggressive V-shaped recovery towards the premium section. It didn't feel like it had spent enough time here to really get the liquidity, do some proper accumulation. It felt like a huge trap. The whole week, if we translate that to Injective, it ever so slightly took here this low, only by a minimum, and then it went up again. And then of course what happens is that you see the whole market going again, like, you know, all-time high. You see Michael Saylor buying Bitcoin, Trump has another fund, etc, etc. I didn't know what to do really well, so, you know, I controlled my emotions. Then afterwards, you know, this whole top also looked very weird. It wasn't a proper distribution here, and also Bitcoin here, it's distributed, but it didn't really take this stop limit or hunt or something, so it also didn't feel really well.
But in the end, you still got a very nice short after waiting for a long time. So that looks like you had a very good week, actually.
Well, true, but when it came up here, what works very well for me actually is just to take a step back, put it on a 1 hour time frame. Before I do anything, just talk to myself out loud, what is happening? On Bitcoin, I was doing that. I was saying to myself, okay, it doesn't have the strength really to you know, continue towards all-time highs, and that's probably because of the swing fail here, or didn't accumulate enough. So I was more looking at Bitcoin. So I had my limits placed and deleted throughout the week. I had my limits placed here. I thought maybe we would go for a little spike up, and then I had my limits here as well. I hope to get filled at one of these. You know, we only enter at the place where others get wrecked. That doesn't happen. It's a sort of ugly sell-off here. I think it was Thursday when Bitcoin went up again, but failed after a certain point to push through. I thought, okay, let's go for it, because I was pretty certain that these lows here, these double lows, it wasn't enough. And I still think that Monday we will see a dump towards even this area, an area here, and here we get this proper accumulation, get this higher time frame sell side liquidity, and then hopefully get up. So I was pretty certain that up here a low would be okay. It's just my entry didn't feel comfortable.
And how did you eventually execute the trade on a lower time frame? Could you maybe show that? Because your walkthrough through the chart bar is honestly, it's pretty amazing. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing. So I'm very curious about how you eventually entered your trade.
Yeah, that was the ugly part, I have to admit. That I was hoping that you wouldn't ask this question. That was just market entering. Which is of course the forbidden word in this series. Like I said, I think it was with New York that Bitcoin was spiking up again, which is somehow, we all know the Foley trap, which is never trust the moves with New York Open. And then after a certain moment, I thought okay, after an hour, let's just go for it.
And how did you decide to take profit at the level where you eventually took profit?
That also could have been better. The next morning we woke up and it had dumped pretty nicely. Then at a certain moment of time, I was just happy to get out. And this little volume note here, I was happy to get out. And I thought, okay, let's secure some profits. I think I wanted to take a partial TP because I was pretty certain, and I'm still certain that it's going lower. I think I just fucked up and took a 100% TP.
I wouldn't say you fucked up, because if you lock in 3R, it's still a great trade, you know? But this is the thing with taking profit. We always want to base our take profit targets on the chart and not necessarily on RR, or how much we are up or how much we are down. We just want to look at the chart and try to identify exactly what you actually did. Identify an area where you think price could put in a high probability reversal. So that's at areas where there's a lot of liquidity present for market makers. I feel like that is the only thing you could have done better, besides, like you said yourself as well, entering with a limit instead of market. But the walkthrough through the chart is amazing, Bart, honestly. And I'm very happy that you spotted the V-shaped reversal and that you could recognize the fact that it was likely going to be a trap, because we know that we can't trust V-shaped reversals because there hasn't been enough time to accumulate or to distribute. And I feel like it's very important that you recognize that fact on the chart. So extremely well done. And also that you patiently waited until you executed. And obviously there are still things that you can improve by limit entering and also limit exiting at the right area. But I think it's once again a great trade. And how much did it gain you on your account?
I was at 262, 263, something like after that trade. $10. The $10 that I left,
nice,
that I lost at those trades. How would you have entered this in a limit way?
I'll quickly show you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you had your supply area right over here and you went on to the lower time frame to start looking for an execution, and you had your trigger probably based on this break of structure to the downside. It means that the invalidation for your trade, which you chose very wisely over here. Then first you have to determine, okay, where am I going to execute? You market executed right over here. I feel like the area where you executed was actually pretty decent, because we know that we always want to enter where other people are getting stopped out. Now, what you don't want to do is market enter. So let's say you have your trigger over here. Then it's very simple. We simply start identifying where we think people are getting wrecked. I feel like there would have been a lot of people wrecked once this high got taken out, and also once this high got taken out, right? Because this high is the second to highest high compared to this high. And we had these two highs that gave us this local impulse down, which broke through the lows over here. Now, when you get a local impulse down through the lows like that, a lot of people start breakdown shorting over here, you know? And those breakdown shorts also need a place to cover their stop loss. Probably going to be those highs when they target lower levels like this. So that means that if one of those highs get taken out, that's where a lot of people get wrecked, aka that's where we want to execute. So I probably would have had, if I would have shorted INJ, my first entry over here, with my invalidation above that high, targeting this liquidity pool over here. And then I would have had my second DCA entry in case we would have squeezed slightly higher above that other high right over here with the same invalidation, risking an additional 0.5R, and then with the same take profit target. I feel like if I was in your position, this is exactly how I would have executed my trade. But, and I've said this many times, execution, in my opinion, is only 10% of a profitable strategy, honestly. The most important part of a strategy is that you are able to identify high probability triggers from medium and low probability triggers. And also that you execute your trades over a consistent amount of time. So as long as the RR is decent and you have your trigger and you have a high probability invalidation and the trigger aligns with your bias, then you just need to make sure that the RR is decent, and preferably enter where other people are getting stopped out, and preferably enter with limit entries instead of market entries, because it will prevent you from breakdown shorting or breakout longing. But this time you didn't really breakdown short. So I wouldn't really say that the market entry was that big of a problem.
I like your explanation, man. I see what you mean here.
We're improving, Bart. Then we are wrapping up another week of my two favorite boomers in the middle of a trading war where they are competing for 2 tickets to a game of FC Barcelona with one of their kids. Still, both going very strong. Accounts still up big, and I'm very, very proud of that. It's a tight race, lots of tension, and I can't wait to see what the next episode will bring. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then we'll catch you guys on the next one. Ciao, ciao!